This is a small corner, a place with a few lit windows late at night. If this is your first time visiting this channel, welcome. Here every night a story is told. Long, quiet, first person, written for tired adults. While I tell the story, I play a game behind me, softly. Two layers come out of that. In front, a story being told to you. Behind, a world slowly opening. There is no single right way to watch this channel. Some close their eyes and only follow the voice until sleep comes. Some leave it on as background while they do something else. While writing, while drawing, while cooking dinner, while brewing tea. Some start it at night and let it run until morning, watching where the game ended up when they wake. For some, this channel is only a voice, someone else's whisper toward the empty corner of the room. Which game, which story? That pairing is different every time. It could be a night watch with a solitude innkeeper in Skyrim on the old gods. It could be a lord in Manor Lords, building a village from nothing and looking back on his past. It could be the quiet first year of someone who moved away from a big city in Stardew Valley season by season. It could be the last case of a tired detective on a rainy noir night. It could be the memories of the last historian in civilization, watching an empire fall with his own eyes. A few combinations always turn in my head. Some will be filmed within a year, some maybe never. If you have a combination in your own head, that game with this kind of story, write it in the comments. I really do read them. I really do take notes. It gives me inspiration. It sits in my mind when I'm writing the next story. If you stay tonight and it suits you, there are other stories from other worlds on this channel. A watchman's night in the Viking world. A last campfire from the southern desert. A 7-day vigil in an old graveyard. And others. Different places. All written for the same purpose. If you have the time, take a look. The videos run long. Most are over 2 hours. Some past 3. This isn't a hurried channel. Plain, slow, deep. Now to tonight. Tonight's story takes place in a small inn, somewhere in the north, at the crossing of 3 roads. Inside the inn there is an old man. He used to be many things. He commanded 1,000 soldiers. His name appeared in the records. His hand signed decisions that shaped lives. Now, late at night, he sweeps the doorway of an inn. No one watches him. He watches no one. He just sweeps. There is a kind of quiet that comes when a man finally stops trying. When he stops gathering land, stops growing his name, stops proving anything to anyone. Tonight's story is about a man who reached that quiet, late, but not too late. If you can pour something warm, pour it. If you can dim the lights, dim them. This story is long, close to an hour and a half. So settle in deep, we're not in a hurry. The game I'm playing behind me tonight is Traveller's Rest, an old acquaintance. I bought it years ago. It sat in a corner of my Steam library, almost forgotten for a long time. I played a few hours back then stopped for some reason I can't remember. Maybe I wasn't in the mood for something this slow at that time. A few months ago, when I looked back at it, I noticed Traveller's Rest had received a lot of updates since I left. New content, new mechanics, new characters, new rooms. It's almost a different game from where I stopped. While I was writing this story, an innkeeper, travellers arriving in the night, it came to me. The right game for this story had been sitting in my library for years. So I'm starting over with you, building the inn, welcoming travellers, brewing drinks. We'll see all of it from zero, together. When I tell the story, I take the game steps quietly behind. There will be moments I get something wrong. There will be moments I stop and think about what to do next. That's fine. We're going slow. We're learning together. Before we start, I want to ask you something. If you'd like to leave a comment, what brings you here tonight? Is it sleeplessness? A day you'd rather not think about? Are you just looking for the sound of someone else's voice? Don't hesitate to write. Part of this channel is the comments. I read all of them. I make time for them. If this video lands well for you, subscribing and a like. Small things, but they make a real difference. In the sleep niche, the algorithm works slowly. Every small signal matters. I'm not pushing, but if you stay through to the end of the story, you'll understand why I'm asking. All right, one deep breath. If you haven't already, dim the lights. Keep the volume soft. I'll lower my voice now. We begin. Tonight, you're an old man who has come to the end of one road and the beginning of another. Tonight, you are an innkeeper for the first time in your long life. Tonight, you arrive at a small inn at a crossroads in the late autumn rain, alone. The rain had started at dusk, soft at first, then steady. You had slowed your horse an hour earlier. The town was still far, but the road to the inn cut through the foot of this slope, and you could see the bend now in the failing light. You pulled your cloak over your head. Your hands were already wet. The leather of the saddle had darkened with damp. You see the inn the way it has been described to you. On the right side of the road, 300 paces in from the fork. The wooden roof half collapsed, the chimney still standing. Above the door, a faded sign, a tankard scratched into old wood, the letters worn off, whatever its old name had been. You tie the horse to the outer post, lift your chest down from the saddle. Heavy, heavier than it should be, almost heavier than your own body. You take the handle in both hands, and walk it toward the door. You leave the horse outside for now. The stable will be inside somewhere. The saddle to remove. Dry hay. One thing at a time tonight. The door is unlocked. They told you that. The town reeve, a small man with kind eyes, had said, no key needed. The old owner left 2 years ago. Whatever is inside is yours now. You push the door. The hinges, old, sing a long complaint. Inside is dark. You stand at the threshold for a moment. Rain behind you, darkness ahead. You step in. The first thing is dust. The air is heavy, the kind of heavy that comes from a room that has not breathed in a long time. You take a few steps, then go back to the threshold. Pull your striker from your coat. Strike steel against flint. On the third strike it catches. You have torn a small strip from your cloak. That takes the flame, and light is born. The inn is small. One room, the main room. The counter against the wall. Behind it, empty barrels on shelves. 3 cracked tankards. A small box. Bottles probably, but their contents long dry. 4 tables in front, 1 overturned, 2 upright. In the corner, the hearth, large stone, larger than a small inn would build for itself. In the late autumn air, it is cold. You set the light on the counter. There is a steel candle holder there, with half a yellow candle still in it. You light the candle. You let the rag drop and it goes out. With the candle alone, the walls of the inn appear. You find the stable door, behind the hearth, small. You open it. Inside there is a dust of hay, but the hay is dry in a pile. Someone pulled it here perhaps 2 years ago. You go back out, walk your horse in from the rain, bring it inside, remove the saddle. Your hand is shaking, whether from the cold or something else, you cannot tell. You pat the horse's neck, short, dry. The horse lowers its head. You step out, close the stable door behind you. You return to the main room. You lay your cloak across the counter, wet. A small puddle will form beneath it. You do not notice. What now? You say inside yourself. For a few seconds you say nothing else. Then, fire for tonight, cleaning tomorrow, people tomorrow, a list tomorrow. You turn toward the hearth. The iron poker hangs on the wall and you touch it, rusted but working. The old wood pile is in the corner, most of it dry. Some has been left outside, is damp. You pick the dry pieces, stack them. You take your striker out again. This time you do not tear from your cloak. There is a small dry leaf on the floor. You use that. The first try does not catch. The second try does not catch. On the third, a small flame opens, then spreads. Then the wood takes. You kneel in front of the fire for about a minute. There is no logical reason. The heat has not yet reached you, but you kneel. Perhaps you wait for the heat. Perhaps you wait for something else. Then you rise. Go back to the counter, take the candle, choose a table for yourself, the one nearest the hearth, and sit down. You place the candle in front of you. From your pocket you take a leather pouch, and from the pouch a folded paper. You open it, spread it on the table. The deed to the inn, sealed by the town reeve 3 days ago. You read your own name beneath the sill. Aldrich. You keep reading, as if you are seeing the way that name is written for the first time. For years I signed decisions under this name, you think. I had men killed. I pardoned others. I gave land. I took land. This name was a seal, pressed into hot wax, left to dry, then set hard. Now this name's at the bottom of the deed to an inn. The same name. The air catches in your throat for a moment. You know that this means something. You do not know what it means. You fold the deed, put it back in the pouch, return to the candle. For a moment you see your hand in the trembling light. Your skin tired, an old scar beneath your left thumb, the faded line on the fourth finger of your left hand, where a ring had been. You do not remember when you took the ring off anymore. Something moves in the corner. You turn your head. From beneath the old wooden cabinet, a pair of eyes are glowing, yellow, small, reflecting the candlelight. A cat. You had not noticed it before. Perhaps it had been here quietly. Perhaps it had come just now. Get out, you say. Your voice is dry, not soft, not hard, just dry. This place is mine now. The cat does not move. I have nothing to give you. The cat looks anyway. You turn your head. You do not care. You stand again, walk to where you set the chest. Your old chest. You had brought few things from the south. Most you sold. You open the chest. Inside a few changes of clothes. An old sword, sheathed, you do not draw it. At the very bottom, a small wooden box. You do not open the box. Tomorrow, perhaps tomorrow. You close the chest. You go to the counter, take an old bottle of cheap wine you had bought in the last town. Set it on the table. You do not pour yourself a cup. You only look at it. Then you go back to the table, sit down again, look at the candle. She said it the day she left, you think. You are not here anymore. You left years ago. I did not understand then. I understand now. You do not weep. You have not wept since a long time ago. You have forgotten how. The candle is getting shorter. You sit. You do not stand again that night. The candle burns out. I watch him. Since the day my old keeper left, this place has been mine. This man has brought smells that do not belong here. Smoke, salt, exhaustion. Exhaustion is a smell I know. I will watch him. There is no need to decide quickly. In the morning you wake before the sun. Your back is stiff from the table, your neck stiffer still. You stand slowly, walk to the door, open it. The rain has stopped. The world outside is washed grey, the kind of grey that follows a long autumn rain. The road is empty. You step outside, walk to the back of the inn. Look at it from the roadside. The roof is worse than you had thought. The wooden boards on the south wall have loosened. But it stands. It still stands. You go back inside. Today I clean. Tomorrow I list what I need. For a week you work from dawn to dusk. You sweep the floor of the main room. Then you scrub the floor. Then you scrub it again. You take the old barrels outside and break them apart for fuel. The wood is too rotten to use for anything else. You find a small storage room behind the counter that you had not seen the first night. Inside, an old broken table, a coil of rope, a pair of leather gloves that had once belonged to a much smaller man. You keep the gloves. The leather has hardened, but it can be saved. On the third day, the brewer from the town comes up the road. A heavy man, perhaps 50, with a beard streaked grey. You sit at one of the tables, the only one you have cleaned properly so far, and you make an agreement. 2 barrels of ale every 2 weeks. Wine if he can find it. A small barrel of mead at the start of winter. The brewer leaves and you sit at the table for a long time after. I have negotiated with kings, you think. I have negotiated with kings, and an agreement with a country brewer makes me sit for an hour to recover. Perhaps that is the point. Perhaps that is exactly the point. The cat is always there, in the mornings on the windowsill, in the afternoons beneath the cabinet, in the evenings near the hearth, never close but near enough that you can see her from any seat. You do not feed her. You do not pet her. You tell yourself you do not care. But on the 4th evening of that first week, there is a small piece of cheese left on the counter, the end of a wedge you ate for supper. You do not throw it to the floor. You do not deliberately leave it there. You simply forget it when you go to bed. In the morning the cheese is gone. You stand at the counter for a moment, looking at the empty wood. You do not say anything. You do not look toward the corner. You go on with your morning. That evening again, there is a small piece of cheese on the counter. By morning again, it is gone. This time you do look at the corner. The cat looks back. Neither of you moves. After a moment, you return to your work. In the second week, you sit at the table one evening. Pen, paper, ink. The fire is burning. The cat, somewhere in the room. You do not look for her. You have not written a letter in years, not since the last time you wrote to a king, declining a command. You sit there for a long time before the ink touches the paper. To whom you think? To my wife? She will tear it. To my son? He has not answered the last three Wait. I have not written him three. I have written him none. You choose your daughter. Your daughter had, once a long time ago, been the gentlest of the three. You do not know she still is. You do not know if any of them still are what they had been. You begin, my daughter, you may be surprised that I am writing to you. I do not mean to disturb you. There have been great changes in my life. I have sold my land. I have bought an inn in the north, in a small town. I am already seeing that I have changed much. I clean with my own hands. I try to cook. I wanted to tell you these things. I would like you to see them one day. Give my greetings to your mother and to your brother, your father, Aldrich. You seal the letter. Put it in the pouch you keep for outgoing post. The northern post comes every 2 weeks. You will walk to the crossroads where the post rider stops and leave it there. You sit back. I lied, you think. I am already seeing that I have changed. No, I have only changed my life. I am still here. I wrote it to win them. I wrote it to show them something. You look at the sealed letter on the table for a long time. You do not unseal it. Even the lies are beginning, you think. Even a lie may be the first step on a road. You send it the next morning. You walk to the crossroads stone, leave the letter under the small flat rock that has always served as the post stop. Walk back. The road is empty. The sky is a flat grey. When you get back to the inn, the cat is sitting on the threshold, looking out. You step over her. She does not move. You do not chase her off. The man sits at the table and does something with paper. Paper does nothing to the world, I know this, but the man believes in it. Perhaps this is one of the things men do. Speak to paper and wait for it to answer. I prefer fish. Fish is real. In the 3rd week, you hang a small sign above the door. Roadside inn, it says. You carved it yourself in the evenings with a small knife. The letters are uneven. You look at it from the road. Uneven, but mine, you think. The first travellers come in 2s and 3s. A merchant on his way to the southern markets. Stays one night, eats without speaking, leaves at dawn. 2 brothers who stop for supper only and move on. A widow travelling north with a small leather case. She stays 2 nights, pays in copper, asks no questions. You serve them clumsily. The mugs are chipped. The soup once is too salty. The widow laughs kindly at the soup. It is not bad, she says. It is only honest soup. I have had worse from people who pretended they were chefs. The merchant on his last morning looks at you for a long moment from across the counter. You are new at this, friend, he says. His voice is gentle. It takes time. You feel heat rise to your face. An older voice in you, the commander's voice, wants to say, "Who are you to give me advice, peddler?" But you do not say it. You only look at your own hands, at the small cuts there, at the dirt under your fingernails. Yes, you say, it takes time. The merchant nods and leaves, but the words stay in the room after he is gone. You think that night by the fire, I wrote to my daughter. I did not know how to write to my wife. She is my wife even now, and I could not find the words for her. Perhaps because for her there are no easy words. For her I have to be honest, and I am not yet honest enough. One evening that week, perhaps the fourth, the cat comes out from beneath the cabinet. She walks across the floor, slowly, deliberately. She comes to within 2 paces of where you stand at the counter. Then she sits. You look, she looks. Neither of you moves. 5 minutes perhaps. 5 minutes of a man and a cat looking at each other in a small inn at the end of autumn. Then you turn slowly and go back to wiping the counter. You do not tell her to leave. First softening, you will think later. Not toward her, toward this. At the end of the 4th week, the post rider comes. He passes the crossroads at noon, and you are waiting there. The rider, a young man with mud on his face, hands you one small envelope. From a mirror to an Aldrich, the rider says. Northern Post took it last week. You take it. Your hand does not shake. You had expected it to. Perhaps I am dead inside, you think. Perhaps that is why. You walk back to the inn with the envelope in your coat. You do not open it. You clean the morning's dishes. You bring in more wood for the hearth. You feed yourself a piece of bread and some cheese. You do not look at the envelope. In the late afternoon, with the sun setting and the inn empty of travellers, you sit at your table. You pour yourself a cup of warm wine. You do not drink it. You only set it in front of you. You open the envelope. Father, your letter arrived. I cannot say I did not expect one. I have been thinking of you for years now, mostly with unkind thoughts. You have bought an inn. Thank you for the information. Mother is not married to another man now, but she lives in peace here. My brother is still in the service of another lord, distant but well. I am writing because my mother refuses to write, and someone must write. Your daughter, Mira. You read it 3 times, each time the same words. Thank you for the information. Cold. Everything you had expected. I am writing because my mother refuses to write. And yet she wrote, you think. She wrote. Even this much. She did not have to write. She could have done nothing and I would have understood. But she wrote. You hold that paper for a long time. You set it down, pick it up again, set it on the table beside the unopened cup of wine. The candle burns slowly. Even this much, you say, out loud this time. Even this much. That night you do not sleep at the table. You take the letter upstairs with you, to the small room you have made for yourself behind the counter. You put the letter under the rough pillow. You do not know why. Perhaps you wanted it close. The cat follows you up the stairs. For the first time, she does not enter the room. She lies down on the landing, outside the door. You leave the door cracked open behind you. The 5th week comes in cold. The rain has turned to something thicker. Not snow yet, but the air has the weight of snow coming. The travellers are fewer, the road is muddier. On the 3rd night of that week, in the heaviest rain, 2 figures arrive at the door. A man and a small boy. The man is perhaps 35, soaked through, tired. His eyes the kind of tired that comes from carrying a child a long way on foot. The boy is perhaps 7. He holds his father's hand tightly. He looks frightened but awake, watchful. You open the door. Come in. There is fire. You do not say anything else. You lead them to the single room you have been preparing for guests. A small upper room with 2 beds and a single window. You bring hot water for them to wash, blankets, a small basin. Then you come back down to the main room and warm soup. You serve it yourself, a wooden bowl for the father, a wooden bowl for the son, bread, a small cup of weak wine for the man, water for the boy. You set it on the table nearest the fire. The man and the boy come down to eat. You retreat to the counter, pretend to clean. You watch them out of the corner of your eye. The father pushes the bowl toward the boy. You eat first. The boy looks at his father. You are tired, you eat. The father laughs, a short, soft laugh, the kind that comes from a man who has not laughed in days and has not realized he could still do it. We will eat together then. The boy bends his head and begins to eat. Then he raises his face. Father. Yes. I miss home. The father, very quietly. I know. We will be there tomorrow. One more night. The boy lays his head against his father's shoulder. He keeps eating with his free hand. At the counter you do not move. You have stopped pretending to clean. You stand with the wet cloth in your hand, the cloth dripping, water pooling on the wooden floor at your feet. You do not notice. You do not know how long you stand there. Long enough that the father glances up at you once, and politely does not look up again. He has understood that something is happening to you. He gives you the kindness of pretending he has not seen it. You set the cloth down. You turn your back to them. You walk into the small back room behind the counter, the one with the broken table and the rope, and you close the door. You stand in the dark of that room for a long time. You do not weep. You do not weep. You only stand. When the father and the boy go up to bed, the inn falls quiet again. The fire in the hearth is the only sound. You return to the main room. You stand at the counter for a long time. You do not move. The cloth is dried where it fell. You walk to the table where they ate. You sit down at it. The wooden bowls are empty. The boy's bowl is scraped clean, the way a hungry child cleans a bowl. The father's bowl is almost full. You sit there and the old voice comes. How many times, you think, did I sit and eat soup with my son? Can I count it? One hand of fingers is enough. One hand of fingers. I was not there on his 5th birthday. I was in the campaign in the Eastern Hills. I was not there on his 7th. I was speaking with another lord about my title. I was not there when he was sick the winter he was 9. I was somewhere else. Always somewhere else. I told myself it was for them. I built titles for them. I gathered land for them. I made the family name large for them. I was lying. I lied to myself. I did not know I was lying, but I was lying. I built titles because the title was worn to me. I gathered land because the land was a mirror, and in the mirror I was a great man. I made the name large because without it, I did not know what I was. I was using them. I was using them as the reason for what was already inside me. My God, my God. What for? What for? What for? What for? The fire snaps in the hearth. The candle on the table gutters, then steadies. You do not move. You have not cried, not for years. You do not cry now. Something else. A weight in your chest, slow growing. They are not coming back, you think. They are not coming back. And even if they did, even if she did, even if he did, even if she, they would not be coming back to a man who deserved them. I am only just now becoming a man who would deserve them. And I am late. I am very, very late. The candle burns. The fire burns. The rain outside has become something quieter. The first soft hush of something not quite snow. You stay at that table until the candle is gone. Tonight there is a crack inside the man. I can see it. Animals know these things. I will sit at his feet through the night. He will not notice. It does not matter. Sometimes it is enough just to be near. In the morning, the father and the boy come down. The boy is sleepy, leaning against his father. The father pays in silver, too much, more than the night was worth. And you do not correct him. You can see the man wants to leave quickly. Some pride a traveling man needs to keep. You respect it. At the door, the boy turns around. "Thank you for the soup," he says. Small voice, clean voice. You nod. You cannot, for the first moment, find a word. "You are welcome," you manage. "Travel well." They leave. The door closes behind them. The room falls back into silence. You stand at the door for some time. Then you turn, walk to your table, and begin to write. You write half a page. You stop. You read it. It is the same kind of letter as the first one. I am changing. I am working hard. I am building something. Lies. Better lies than the first, but lies. You tear it. You begin again. You write 3 lines. You stop. You read them. Do you remember when? Do you remember when? You cannot finish the sentence. You do not know what you want her to remember. You do not know if she would remember it. You tear that one too. You sit for an hour. You look at the cat, who is sitting on the table now, near the inkwell. The way a cat sits on a table when she has decided to be a part of something. You do not chase her away. You begin for the 3rd time. "My daughter, thank you for your reply. You wrote thank you for the information. I deserve that. I have to write you something. For years I told myself that I fought for you all so that you would have a better life. That was not true. I fought for myself, for my title, for the approval of a shadow in my mind. I understand this very late. I do not want to make up for it. There is no making up. I only want you to know. Do not tell your mother. If she wishes to read, she will read. Do not tell her. Your father, Aldrich. You do not send the letter immediately. You leave it on the table for 2 days. You look at it each evening. You do not change a word. On the 3rd morning you wake. Something is different in the air. The kind of stillness that comes after a long rain. You go to the window, the small window in the front of the inn, and you open it. Outside, the world is white. The first snow has come in the night. You stand at the open window for a long time. The cold air comes in. You do not close the window. You breathe it. In the trees behind the inn, in the road, on the roof itself, white. The kind of white that makes the world quieter than it has been. You had stood at the window of a war camp once, in a winter campaign, and seen this same snow. You had said nothing then either, but you had not felt this. You had felt the campaign continues. You had felt prepare the horses. You had felt we move at dawn. You had not felt the snow. Now you feel it. After some time you close the window. You pick up the letter from the table. You fold it. You seal it. You walk to the crossroads in the new snow. The first footprints of the season, your footprints. A single trail from the inn to the road. And you leave the letter at the post rider's stone. You walk back. The cat meets you at the door. You look at her. Come in, you say, quietly, almost to yourself. It is cold. The cat walks in. She does not look up at you. She goes to the hearth. She curls. You close the door. Today the man looked at me. He has looked at me before, but today there was something else in his look. As if I was there. He was not pretending I had been there before. Today I was there. This is new. 2 days after the snow, you go to your chest again. You open it. You take out the old sword, sheathed, and hold it for a while. You have carried this sword for 30 years. You cannot remember every battle. You can remember some. Faces of men you killed. Faces of men you spared. A name or two. Edric of the Southern Marches. The boy from Halbert's village. The older man with the broken sword, who said his name was Thomas. Thomas, you named your own son after that man. You told no one that. You did not even tell yourself most days. You look at the sword. You are also a past, you think. There is nothing to hide. You stand, walk to the wall above the hearth. Hang the sword there, sheathed, plain, visible to anyone who comes to the inn. You look at it on the wall for a moment. Now it is something a guest can see and ask about, or not ask about. Now it is not a secret. Then you return to the chest. At the bottom, beneath the place where the sword had been, is a small wooden box. You take it out. You set it on the table. You have not opened it for 7 years. You sit down at the table with the box in front of you. The cat watches from the hearth. No, you think. That is not true. The cat is at the hearth. She is not watching. She is simply there. Maybe being there is enough. Maybe it always was. You open the box. Inside, small on the piece of folded linen, is a thin circle of woven silver. Your wife's bridal crown from your wedding day, 28 years ago. She had left it behind the day she walked out. Whether she had left it intentionally or had forgotten it in her hurry, you had never known. You had assumed forgotten. Now, for the first time, you wonder if it had been intentional, if she had left it as something she could not bring herself to take, but also could not bring herself to keep. You hold the crown in your hand. It is lighter than you remembered. The silver has not tarnished. She had cleaned it every year, even after the marriage had begun to break. You remember watching her clean it once, by candlelight, in the 7th year of your marriage. You had thought, what a quiet thing she does. You had not asked her why. You hold it for a long time, and then, slowly, carefully, you place it back into the box. But this time you do not close the lid. You leave it open. You set the box on the table, near the candle, where anyone, including yourself, can see it. I have hidden you long enough, you say to the box. I have hidden you long enough. That night you write a third letter. You do not tear it, you do not stop. You simply write it, slowly, in your old, careful handwriting. The handwriting of a man who once signed commands and now signs nothing but his own letters. My daughter, today I opened the chest. I found your mother's bridal crown. Do you remember she once showed you her crown when you were very small? You may not remember. I would like to write this to you tonight while snow falls. I looked out of the window of my inn for a long time. There was no one inside, only the sound of the fire in the hearth, and a cat. I have a cat in my inn now. Did you know that? I have not given her a name yet. It is a quiet night. I am becoming a quiet man. I was not once. I said there is no making up. I still say that. But I want you to know, if you ever come here, for an hour or for a day or for a lifetime, the door will be open. Tell your mother, tell your brother. But I do not expect. I only wanted the door to be open. I wanted you to know. Your father, Aldrich. You set the letter on the table. You do not put it in the envelope yet. You do not send it. You have decided, sometime that evening, without naming the decision, that you will send it when you are ready. Not tonight, maybe tomorrow, maybe in a week. The writing was the thing. The sending was secondary. You stand up. You look at the cat at the hearth. She is curled there. The embers near her glow faintly. Her sides rise and fall. Slowly, you walk toward her and crouch. Would you like a name, cat? Your voice is soft. I have one in mind for you. Cinder. Perhaps you deserve it. Perhaps this name is for you. The cat raises her head. She looks at you. She puts her head back down. Whether that was an answer or not, you cannot tell. But it does not matter anymore. Cinder. You stand, you walk to the window. The same window you opened to see the first snow. You open it again. The cold comes in. The snow has stopped. But the world is still white. The road is dark and quiet. A single lantern is burning in the distance, in the direction of the town. Someone else also awake, also alone, but not alone perhaps. You stand there for a long time. You do not know what you are waiting for. You do not know that you are waiting for anything. You are just there. After some time you close the window. You put a piece of wood on the fire. You pick up the broom, the old broom, the one you used the first night, and you begin to sweep the floor. A new day is beginning. The inn is still small, the inn is still humble, but you are here, exactly here. This is enough. The man is here now, exactly here, not in his past, not in the papers he waits for. The wood snaps in the hearth, the snow has fallen. That is all. That is enough. That is enough. This is enough. This is enough. This is enough. All right. One breath together. The story is over. Aldrich was there. The snow was falling. The cat was at the hearth. The third letter was left on the table. The door was open. We'll leave it here. Now let's circle back to the game for a moment. I want to say a few words about Traveller's Rest. On Steam, the game has about 17,000 reviews, 89% positive. While I was reading through them, one mind stood out. A player wrote about the just one more day feeling. You stoke the fire one more time. You serve one more customer. Then you look up and 3 hours have gone by. That's the heart of the cozy management genre. Stardew's whole secret in one phrase, and Traveller's Rest catches it. A lot of the reviews compare it to Stardew. Of course they do. The DNA comes from the same place. But Traveller's Rest finds its own corner. A tavern instead of a farm. Brewing instead of harvest. I noticed another current too. Older players aren't entirely happy with some of the recent updates. There's a newer system they call recipe fragments. Long-time players say they've lost something. I'm new here. I don't know the old system. I'm not in a position to judge. But it's been a lesson to me. When a game develops over years, the old fans sometimes feel like they're watching it become a different game. It's a hard dance for the developers. You can't please everyone. As a newcomer, my experience is calm. The mechanics are smooth. The pixel art is clean. The atmosphere fits this story perfectly. I might keep this one around for a few more weeks. Now back to the story. There was something I thought about a lot while writing this, and I want to share it. Do you remember Aldrich's line, "I did it all for them"? That's the lie at the heart of the story. For years, Aldrich told himself he was fighting for his family. He gathered land for them. He built titles for them. He carved his name into records for them. But years later, sitting in the small inn, watching a boy lean his head against his father's shoulder, he understood that he had been lying. He was doing it for himself, to fill that quiet emptiness inside him. He was using his family as the reason. That isn't only Aldrich's lie. That's the lie of our age. Right now, all over the world, millions of people are working 10 hours, 12 hours a day, for their pay, for their career, for my family, they tell themselves. Their children grow up without them. Their spouses go to bed while they're still in front of a screen. Their parents grow sick while their minds are on the next meeting. We all tell each other the same thing. I'm doing it for them, for a better life. Later I'll have time. Later I'll be with them. When does later come? We don't know. For some of us it comes. The children are still young. The spouse is still waiting. The parents are still on their feet. For some of us it doesn't. The child grows up and leaves. The spouse says one evening in the hallway, "You left years ago." The parents call to say goodbye one day, and we're still in front of the screen, saying one more job, then I'll come. Aldrich was in the second group. He understood very late. But the story says something important. Understanding very late is better than not understanding at all. Aldrich doesn't think his wife will come back. He doesn't think his son will stop being distant. He doesn't think his daughter will forgive him. He just leaves the door open. He just writes the third letter. He just gives the cat a name. He just opens a window and breathes the cold. Even that is better than doing nothing. I think this is the real message of the story. Happiness isn't in fame, in money, in land. Happiness is in small shared moments. A bowl of soup, a head resting on a shoulder, a letter. Aldrich understood this very late. We all understand a little late, actually. Maybe some things can't be understood in time. Maybe to understand them, you have to lose them. That's unfair, but true. Still, when you realize it's late, another door opens. I noticed while writing this story that I needed this reminder myself. Maybe some of you need it tonight too. If this story touched something in you, if it brought to your mind a father, a wife, a child, an old friend, don't say later. Send them a message tomorrow. Go see them. Make a phone call. Aldrich's later came at a very heavy price. Let yours not. Right. We got a bit emotional. Some of this story was written to touch people, and some of it was written to set myself straight. If you stayed to the end, I genuinely thank you. If you enjoyed this channel, if you want to watch stories like this in the future, subscribe, hit like. In the sleep niche, these small signals matter. The algorithm works slowly. Every small click opens a door. At the start of the video, I asked you something. If you had a game story combination in your head, I said I'd like to hear it. Maybe after watching the story, an idea has opened up. If this game had this kind of story, if you've thought something like that, write it in the comments. Some will be made, some won't. But all are read, all are noted. This channel is taking shape slowly. Having its shape with your voice feels good. I'll continue with the game for a while longer now. Quietly. Setting up the tavern. Placing the barrels. Waiting for the first customers. If If you want to stay with me, welcome. If you want to sleep now, good night. Knowing I'm here for you is enough. Until we meet in the next story, take care of yourselves. Take care of the ones you love. Don't say later. Where are you? What time is it? If you leave a comment, I read it. I'll go quiet now.